Voila, good evening, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm slightly behind schedule. I had to be in a particular meeting. Let me just make sure that people are live already. So let me see. All right, so let me see. Where are we? Fantastic. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Please let me know where you're joining in from. All right. Mm-hmm. So I see two people are live. Please kindly repost the link to this session so that as many people as possible, as many people as we know can join. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I just want to make sure the we're live and people. Yeah, I see Nana. Nana is joining in from Ghana. We're good. I see Gamma. Okay, fantastic. So this is perfect. All right. Leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. Tell me where you're joining in from while I work to pull out my slides. Tonight is an interesting night. It's an honor to have as many parents as possible that are online tonight hang out with me today. Let's talk about how we get to prevent sexual abuse from occurring in our homes. All right, so I'm trying to pull up my slides now. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you're joining in from. I'd also like to know how old your girls are. Leave me a comment. Let me know the ages of the girls. Oralua is joining in from ABJ. Thank you so much. I see Gamer Boy joining in from the US. I'm excited to welcome you here, Ma Osa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. I see our eyeballs are increasing. It's time to have that conversation. Pop, 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 pop. So yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready. So let me know how old your daughters are so that as I speak, I can use the right ages. I see Auntie Joy, she's joining in from England. Oraloa has an 8 and a 13-year-old. This is exciting. Ifoma is joining in from Port Harcourt. Fantastic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So honored to welcome you all. I see for my pharmacy, she has a 2 and a 4-year-old. So tonight I'm going to be having as practical as a very practical conversation, all right? And as I share this practical conversation, remind me be dropping questions. If you have a question or something I said, you want to know whether it applies to your child's age, please let me know. I see our number of participants are increasing. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm really honored to welcome every single one of us, all right? So we're going to be starting our session in a moment, all right? I just want to make sure my slides are ready to go. So, yeah, 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 I think we're good. So, welcome, welcome. I see Joy, Auntie Joy, welcome. Your baby's 12 years old, fantastic. For people just joining us, please keep the interactions coming. Let me know how old your daughters are. Let me know where you're joining in from as well. So, I see we have 2, 4, 8, 13, 12. Fantastic. The age range is wide, which is good. So, it's going to be a really, good session we are showing you. All right. All right, all right, all right. So, hey, Mama, I see you. Mama is always here for me. Oh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, tonight we're talking about how to prevent sexual abuse from happening in our homes. To prevent sexual abuse from happening in our homes. So, the very first thing I want to tell you is that look, sexual abuse is more common than many parents care to admit. If I put 10 women in a room right now we need to have a conversation, I can bet you that out of 10 women, 8 have had a brush off with sexual abuse. If it's not rape, it's molestation, is there's something. And so you as a parent today, you want to look back that if these things happened in my time, how much more now? Why am I saying how much more now? Society was not as sexualized as it was then, and people were on a rampage to rape. There was gang raping, there was all kinds of things. There was molestation then. There was sibling to sibling molestation. There was relatives, cousins to cousins molestation. There was, sadly, parents to child molestation in those days. And so, if you're a parent today and you feel like, Kai, this thing is not serious, I'm just going to ask you to go and follow Cheche Yara on Instagram and follow Mirabel Center and see the amount of cases that they have that they take to court so that children can get justice. But here's the sad part: no matter the justice that you get for the child, no matter the justice you get for the child, the abuse has happened. No matter the no matter the no matter the justice you get for the child, the abuse has happened. So tonight, my focus is how do we prevent abuse from happening. So I'll talk about things that are practical. Oh, oh, fantastic! Thank you so much, Miss Joy. Thank you for coming in. We'll keep building skills so that we can support family like yours, holistically. Thank you so much. So, like I was saying, it doesn't matter how much justice that we get for girls who are abused. It doesn't matter. I promise you. You cannot bring back, you can't bring back the child to what he used to be. All right. So let me show my slides on the screen at the moment. Yeah, fantastic. All right. So that we can all go together. So today we're looking at practical ways in which we can prevent sexual abuse from happening in our home. So the first thing I'd like you to write down for me is, no matter how much justice we get for girls, an abused girl is never the same again. It doesn't matter the justice. We hang them, castrate them, they kill them, whatever it is, the scar has taken place. So till tomorrow, preventing the abuse will always be better than cure. But today, there's help, there's cure, there are different things that we can do to help the child recover. But even though all of those structures are in place, the pace of recovery is different from one child to the other. Whether they will eventually really recover is a question, another thing entirely. Because they may recover in this season, and in another season, something happens that triggers them all over again. So now it means there's now a condition that we consistently need to manage. So it means that everything boils down to preventing abuse. All right, so let me go. So my name is Irene Bangwell. If you're coming to this handle for the very first time, I teach girls sex education, and the sex education that I teach is particularly influenced by the Bible, is biblical principles around purity. My work is to equip parents like you to support your children. What kind of education do you give them that helps them build the conviction to choose purity? So why are we having this conversation today? Sexual abuse opens a window. I've met girls that were abused. I mean, I met a woman one time, a young woman I had to work on. I didn't know how much I know now. So even right now, when I look back, I didn't support her like I should have. But at the same time, I understand that um, even if I knew what I know now, she still needs to meet me halfway. I met this lady and she was promiscuous. She was so promiscuous that it used to bother me because she was in church. I met her in church, but she was crazy. And so at first, it was something she was ashamed of, it was something she was hiding. Before I knew it, social media and different things started emboldening her. And so she could put on social media that she needs to have sex today. Oh, and she was a single woman. So one time, as I was trying to dig, I got to know that an uncle molested her when she was a child. And for some children or some human beings, some people, once that molestation happens, they don't see life the same way again. I mean, think about it. Some may even say, I'm to honor God with my body. Where was he when my body was being abused? So please cut me some slack. So one of the greatest enemies to purity convictions is sexual abuse, and that's the basis of the conversation we're having tonight. So I want to show you first and foremost. I want to split this session into like two parts. I'll tell you what makes abuse possible. In each of those things that make abuse possible, we're going to find what we are closing. We're going to find the doors that we are closing. All right. So let me begin. So what makes abuse possible? Number one of the things that makes abuse possible is that children are not getting the right supervision. There's no adequate supervision. What do I mean? Children can go unsupervised for days. So, take for instance, we heard that story yesterday where a plumber that was coming to work molested children that were 9 and 7 years old. So, I'm asking, was there any adults in the house? Did their mother walk out? Because what will give that 18-year-old confidence was the fact that they will not be interrupted. So children who can go for long hours unsupervised, People that want to abuse them know that nobody will catch you. You do and finish, nobody has come back. So for parents who say, well, my shop is there, my children are there, they will be fine. They can take care of themselves. This night, I just want to let you know that the people who abuse children capitalize on the absence of parents, the physical absence of parents. So the first door you need to close is that you need to be present. One of the things my husband and I sat down and talked about one day was that our generation is in a trap. What does that mean? We're the generation that sees our potential. We see what we can achieve. I mean, you come online and you hear that somebody is making 7 figures, 8 figures. We are challenged that we can be more. So we exist in a bubble, and that bubble tells you you can achieve more. Just keep pressing, you can achieve more, you can achieve more. And so what is happening is that our ambitions is taking away the time that we could have also shared with our children. I'm not saying, for an entrepreneur like me, I'm not saying we shouldn't, pursue our goals. I'm saying that how much becomes too much. How do you know you're doing too much? So one of the things I used to know that I'm beginning to do too much is, number one, when the work starts to take away from some of the time I'm supposed to give to my children, especially when it is a barest minimum. For example, you can have a number of hours you want to spend with your children every week. Once you exceed that number of hours, you start to know that something is wrong. You have to measure it properly. You have to measure it against work time, self-care time, and how much time you want to dedicate to your children. So the moment you know that that timing, I'm using too much of it, you know you're doing too much on your ambition right now. The other thing that also helps me to sense that I've overshot or I don't cross the bar is when I'm not praying enough, when I have reason to postpone prayer. So I know that I don't cross. I've gone beyond the border. So what do I mean? Children are abused when there's no supervision. When the people know that nobody will come back early, nobody will check on them, there's a problem. I watched a video where pedophile said that children who have present parents, they never try them. So how are you running your home? Can you sleep and your children are, you say either keep watch it over you or neither sleep nor slumber. So you came back from work, you were tired, you lay down and slept. Your children are going from one neighbor's house to the other. They're going from one neighbor's house to the other. They're staying in their rooms. You're not even interested. You can't remember the last time you entered your children's the number one thing that makes abuse possible is lack of supervision. When there's no supervision of a child's activity, when there's no supervision of a child's activity, when a child can go unattended, don't be quick to pack your kids for sleepovers. Don't be quick to pack your kids up for sleepovers. Don't be quick to send your children off. Don't be quick to ship them off for a little moment. You say, come and go here, go to this auntie, go to this uncle. When your children are growing up wild like that without careful supervision, where you're saying, where did you go to, where did you get this cup from, where did you get this plate from, who gave you this, who gave you that, your children become they are the meat that the pedophiles want. They know that this one nothing will happen, because for one, they know that they will finish doing what they're doing, you will never catch them. So how are you running your home? Are you present? Do your children ever feel like, mommy will see it, Mom, mommy will figure it out, daddy will figure it out, daddy will find out, daddy will find out, daddy will notice? Would they be able to say that? So lack of supervision is the first thing. And so it means that the door to close is better supervision. Let me give you an idea of what supervision can look like. You may be at work, but you know that your kids are coming home by 4. The school bus is bringing them home by 4. So around the time you estimate that they should be home, get on the phone, call. Are they home? Let me talk to them. How was school? Da. All right. Do you have homework? Have you put your clothes in the laundry basket? Okay, you've done that. All right. So go and eat now. Go and have a bath. Go and do this. When the neighbor knows, the demonic neighbor knows that a call is going to come through for this child, the fear that the child would even talk will make them stay away from your children. But when they know that your children can go unattended for hours, your children become prone to abuse. This second one is not the same thing as the first. This second one is that things are happening under your nose and you don't know. You don't know your children enough to know when their temperament changes. You don't know your children enough to know when something is wrong. So it is about the lack of observation of changes and patterns. You're sitting down outside your house, and all of a sudden, a neighbor starts to tell your child, send one child to go and buy. So uncle say you should go and buy, starts to go. You're not noticing the reluctance in your child or the eagerness in your child all of a sudden. Sometimes you're not even noticing that gifts are coming. Sometimes you're not even noticing that your child looked withdrawn. I mean, I have a child that I had to work on one time where the father said that, well, they just noticed that when she got to a certain class, a certain time of her life, she stopped being outspoken. And this, I met this child 4 years after this had happened. And so I'm asking the father, when it happened, what do you know? He said, oh, that they thought it was a phase, it will pass. African parents, it is not a phase. Once you notice a change, there's a problem. Once you notice that your child that used to be confident starts to stutter, there's a problem. Once you notice that a child that does not bedwet suddenly starts to bedwet, there's a problem. Once you notice that a child that used to do well in school, in the subject that they love, they start to decline, there's a problem. Once a child that didn't used to get into trouble in school, they start to call you that they had problematic behaviors in school, it's a sign that something is wrong. So we have to be alert. I mean, I've met people who said that they were abused as children and their parents didn't know. You didn't notice a change in her walking step. Did you walk into their laundry? If you're raising females, get into their laundry room often. Look at their pants. In fact, you can get to say you want to see how the pants are looking. If a child was raped and they are scared, they may have something on their pants. You may see blood stains on their pants that they didn't wash out properly. In fact, in homes where children know that mom still go check this thing, it helps. If somebody was trying to make advances at them, they can tell the person that, please, my mother will figure it out, my mother will notice. So we need to be present. That means put your eye. But now don't put your eye on your children and leave other people alone. Don't put your eye on your children and leave other people alone. Let me tell you something. As adults, I want to ask this question and I'd like people to answer me. Is it true that when you see a boy and a girl or a man and a woman who are having sex, you can know it in their body language? I want to know. If you see two people that are having sex without being told, you can know that these two people are doing stuff. So if you think that's true for you, I want to see it in the comments. If you see two people, I want to see whether it's only happening in my head. Because I used to notice that when I was in university a lot. Who is like me? Not likely. Well, you can tell from body language. All right. Um, Cynthia said not sure. Nana said not sure. Well, sometimes you can tell. So let me give you perspective now. If your friend came and told you that a guy she's dating, they are not having sex, would you be able to know when she's telling the truth and when she's not? So I'm going to give you one detail. For instance, if two people are having sex, there's a kind of joke they joke with each other, and there's a kind of joke they don't joke with each other. So, for example, when women start to date men initially, when there's no sex, the man takes orders from her. I don't want this, I don't want this. But once there's sex, the power dynamic switches. She starts to be on the receiving end. Has anyone noticed that anywhere? In premarital relationships, when we're in school, for instance, when a girl and a guy start to date, at the initial phase, the girl bosses the guy. I want to eat ice cream. If you want to see me, come here. If you want to do this, come here. If you want to do that, come here. But once sex happens, the power dynamic shifts. She moves into pleasing him mode. How many people have noted that before? Of course, it's not in all cases, and you will not always be right. But when the dynamics are there, if you pay attention, you will notice it. Your body language can reveal that, yes. So what that means is that if you have a nanny in your house that is sexually active, you will know. One of the signs is that sometimes she reacts to you as if she's your mate. When you anger her, when you say something that she's not pleased with, her body persona can tell you. There are rude people who have that persona, but there's a condescending, why are you talking to me like that? That's different from don't talk to me like that too. I don't know if you get the point. So what that means that if you have a maid at home that is sexually active, you will know. And if you have a sexually active maid in your house, you need to be extra present because sexually active maids, male or female, can abuse children. I didn't say all of them, I said some of them. If a maid is sexually active and then they came into your house for a period of time, let's say you have those maids that go home once a month on a Sunday. So when they have high libido during the course of the month, how do they take care of themselves? Hmm? How do they take care of themselves? Think about it. Your driver makes, when your driver is talking, all the maids that are female laugh. The woman selling momo laughs. You pick that body language. When you start to see that body language, and sometimes it comes to you like, "Mommy, I'm all for you. I'm all for you. I'm all for you. Send me go anywhere. You know I'm your son now." Can be flippant. I'm not saying that I'm not stereotyping. I'm saying that you have to be alert with the people around your kids. Till today, I don't know why parents hire male teachers for after school lesson for their daughters. I don't understand. I don't know why we do that. I know sometimes it can be hard to say, oh, that's a talented one, but you must do that. What structure do you have in place to make sure that nothing happens from there? So what I'm saying in essence is stop taking for granted the people around you. Let me bring you home a little bit. Your younger sister living in your house. Do you not know about her sexual values? Do you not know about your sister's sexual values? Or you think that because she's your sister, even though she's promiscuous, it can affect your children? You lie. If your sister has a value problem, you wouldn't know where the boundary is. You wouldn't know whether she's pedophilic in nature. You wouldn't know. I have met a woman who said her mother's sister used to ask them to touch her nipple till she reached orgasm. I'm sure that lady's mom will swear that even if my sister is wild, she no go carry and go reach my children. So again, you're wrong. Don't make assumptions for anybody. Don't make any assumptions. Don't make anybody feel that you become trusting. There's a data that says I think about 75 or 80% of sexual abuse happens with people who know the families. So you can't say, I know this uncle in church, or I know this. No, 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 no. We love the people who show love to our children. We value them, but we never ever get to the point where we start to think that nobody can abuse our child. You don't do that now. You don't do that. At the same time, you're not paranoid. You just know that they know the right time for person face, and prevention is better than cure. So you need to be present. You need to be present. Look at the story that broke on the internet last week where a particular woman has a best friend, a female. She keeps her daughter with the female. Let's imagine that she's a nurse. So she takes her child to stay with this second person. She absolutely trusts this second person. But that lady started introducing her daughter to lesbianism. And you know, with us females, when they say look for someone you can trust, your mind won't go to a man, but your mind will go to a female. And Irene is telling you today that there's female on female sexual abuse and there's male on male sexual abuse. There's male on female, there's male on male. There's female on male, there's female on female. So you have to be present. Watch body language. I remember one guy visited our house one time when my daughter was about 2. And so he's hailing my daughter. And the next thing I say, look at her, see hips. I just held her. I said, no, she cannot have hips. She's 2 years old. I don't know why you're saying that. As some people say, Irene, people will not compliment people again. I'm saying that pedophiles compliment people like that. So even you that is not a pedophile, when you want to compliment and I tell you don't do that, I'm giving you a feedback that I don't want my children to be used to that kind of compliment because pedophiles use it to run their hearts into the children. So we have to be present. You went to church, you sat down somewhere, Your children are sitting on an alley. Maybe let's say, I don't know how your church design may be. Let's say on the gallery, you can see your child. You're dancing, worshiping, worshiping, worshiping. After a while, you don't see your child anymore. You don't need to go up and say, God, where are you? But after service, you need to ask, where did you go to? Do you get the idea? Be present, because kids are leaving church and going to church toilets to still do stuff. Do you understand? And so it's all part of it. There's child on child sexual abuse. So parents need to be extra alert. So let me go to the next slide. This one, take it to the bank. Many children that are sexually abused don't have routine. Routine brings order into their life. When you go to bed, how we greet people, whose house we enter, self-restraint. You need to provide those structures. I'm not saying that sexual abuse cannot happen even when there's a structure. I'm saying that when people meet children coming from structured parenting experiences, they are careful. So routine means kids have structured activities from day to day. They can account for their idle time. They have policies about visiting neighbors. So for instance, when I come home, it gives us room to talk. If my children had a structured schedule, when I come and say, let's say I have a child whose name is Nonso. Say, Nonso, did you wash plates today? Ah, mommy, it took me longer. Oh. As I was washing, Uncle Ekene came and stood by the window. He asked me if he would help me with detergent. Structure. I have what to ask to help me see what patterns are happening around them. Remember, we're not trying to become paranoid, but we're saying sexual abuse happens when anything goes. So when anything goes, anything goes. So if I come home, even if I drove into the house by 8 p.m., my kids should have been home by 4 o'clock, 4:30. Who was to wash plate today? Who was to wash clothes? Did anyone come to look for me? As we're talking and having that conversation, especially at the end of the day, it gives opportunity for certain things to come up. So, for instance, if you have two children, one of them can say, "Hi, mommy, I saw this person talking to the one," and your other child can say, "But it's not a big deal. I just came and said hello." Somehow you've gotten the information you need to guard against all of this. So, all of this provide opportunity for sexual abuse. So you have a 2 to 3 year old, you say, what's the routine? You tell the nannies at home. After she comes back, she bathes, she does her homework, she watches cartoon. You give her a structure. She watches cartoon. By so time, she has a bath. We prepare dinner for her. And then remember, you're calling across the time, or your husband is calling, or you have something that you do that you find a way to also come back home early. So even for your 2 to 3 year old, did you enjoy your snack today? Because you know the snack for one. You know what was packed in the lunch bag. You know the activities happening in school that day. Today was sports day. Did you go to the playground? Who went to the playground with you? What game did you play? They start to tell you, oh, one nanny helped me. One nanny did da 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 da. You start to get feedback. So having routine helps you structure your children's day, which gives people who want to abuse the impression that you're a very organized home and they will be found out. But then it also gives you the opportunity to come back down at the end of the day and have conversations. If the children were playing from morning to night, no structure, no this, how did your day go? Fine. There's nothing they're feedbacking you on. So routine gives you opportunity to get feedback at the end of the day. So if you don't have a routine, put it out there. So let's say there's a nanny that is being funny, all right? And one of your children was to wash clothes today. So when she went to the laundry to put clothes, the nanny tapped her on the breast or touched her somewhere. So in talking to yourself, what did you do today? I washed clothes, mom. Then you notice the reaction. Did anything happen? Is there something you're not comfortable with? They cannot tell you, oh, when I went to put the laundry inside this one happened. This feedback can come even if they didn't have a structure, but it will not come as early as, let me tell you, have you ever spoken to a child and a child was telling you something that happened 1 year ago and you're upset because you're like, why are you telling me now? Why didn't you tell me then? Because there was no opportunity to have that conversation in a way that you can extract information. All right. Unresolved issues. I want to stay here for a bit. Unresolved issues. Unresolved issues is a window for sexual abuse. Unresolved issues. So let me read what's on my slide. It says here, unresolved issues means parents not resolving conflict among themselves, which can lead to emotional neglect and trauma. So when you're quarreling with your partner, when you're having issues at home, chances are that you're not paying attention to your children, or you're taking out your anger on your children. Now, when home is hot, children turn to the next available person to talk. And anybody you talk to about an emotional stuff, if they are not the right people, do you understand? So I lost my chain of thought. I saw what you said, Chikodi. Most male teachers are science teachers. Just set standards. They are not alone. That yes, I talked about setting standards. But some people have a standard that the children went home to the teacher only. You get the idea? So yeah, so standard. So unresolved issues mean that you and your partner are having an issue, you're always fighting, you're having a disagreement, the atmosphere is tense, your child turns to the school to the driver to talk about what they're dealing with. If the driver is not a wholesome human being, it opens doors. It opens doors for a lot of things. When your children feel neglected, when your children feel that you're not making time for them, when your children feel that they're not important to you, when your children discover that, or begin to feel, they don't need to discover because it's not always true, but they go away with different impressions. When the impression is not right, they can turn to people to open up about issues. And when they turn to people to open up about issues, as the people listen to them, as the people comfort them, as people console them, those people, if they are not wholesome people, it opens them up for sexual abuse. This is when I'm talking about unresolved issues between you and your husband, you and your partner, even if you're a single parent or you're co-parenting. If the relationship is consistently hostile, it has an impact on your children. Your children go away with the trauma. They want a more serene atmosphere. They want a more peaceful atmosphere. When you can't give it to them, they start to look for relationships that they can try to get that kind of stability from. Now, if they turn to people who are not wholesome, if they turn to people who are not trustworthy, if they turn to people who do not fear God, those people will take advantage of it. So, for example, they can talk to the driver, they can talk to the nanny, they can talk to a neighbor, they can talk to someone anywhere, just because the human spirit wants to air, wants comfort, wants friendship, wants support, wants presence. So, if you're not giving it at home, your kids can look for it in unhealthy ways. But the other part is also unresolved issues between children and their parents. Unresolved issues mean so many parents, their child has an issue. Maybe they don't wash their clothes well, maybe they're bedwetting, maybe they have a problem. So, but now you're consistently bringing up that issue. You're consistently talking about that issue. They can't drink water and drop the cup. They can't. So, for instance, the one that has an issue, maybe bedwetting, if she's the older one, then she corrects her younger one. So, why will you talk to her like that? You that is busy. You keep bringing up the issues that they're having with you. You bring it up repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. Your child starts to look for an escape. Your child starts to look for an escape. You know, one of the things that one interview I watched, the pedophile said that they're looking for children who feel lonely. 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 So when they see that gap of children being lonely, they fill it up. They fill it up with friendship. They fill it up with attention. They fill it up with affirmation. That thing you cannot say, they're saying it to your child. They're saying it to your child. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we did a course on sex conversation starter course. And then one of the things we explored was when you want to teach your children sex education, for example, you need to take into consideration your children's temperament and your maybe traumas they've gone through. Because you can be sitting down here in this class and say, "Car, sexual abuse should not happen in my home." But your child, excuse me, will rather not report that abuse because the person abusing her provides her a relationship that you cannot, yes, provides her a relationship that you cannot give her. So they can know that that cousin that comes over the weekend to pass the night is touching them inappropriately, but they want that person in their space. If you're raising an only child that feels lonely, there's not enough activities engaging her, I want you to know that if the person abusing her is like a cousin that comes to sleep over, she's not going to speak up. So there are unresolved issues. In Africa, we dismiss children and their needs. A child comes and say, "Mommy, I'm really bored." We dismiss it first. I beg, leave here. Even me can do it sometimes. But because of the work that I do, I had to start being careful about, oh my God, what's the feedback I'm telling my children? Go and look for something to do. Go and be entertained. Oh, you're a bother to me. And so they look for someone who they are not a bother to. And pedophiles and these wicked people have a way of suggesting to children, I'll always be here for you. I understand you. To make it even worse, some of them start to tell our children, I too used to have issues with my parents. And parents never understand us. So your unresolved issues is giving the enemy an opportunity to come into your home. So can you and your husband agree, or your child's father agree that, please, for the sake of these children's wholesomeness, for their sake, can we not fight publicly? Can we resolve our issues amicably? If we need to raise issues with each other, can we use the right words? Because we're tensing up this home. We're tensing up this home. We're tensing up this home. And we're making our children vulnerable to sexual abuse. Very vulnerable. Remember what I said in that first slide? Lack of supervision. Some children are on their own. They wake up in the morning, prepare their food, pack their bag, go to school. Nobody comes for their PTA. Nobody does anything. Nobody comes to school to check whether they pass or they didn't pass, so they're on their own. And you're there telling your friends that you have an independent child. It depends on how old your child is. Your child is 6, 7, 8, and you're doing independent child. They wash their uniforms by themselves. They do everything by themselves. There is no help. There's no way that they're being served. They're on their own. They can get up and say they're going to the other person's house. They can get up and say they saw 100 naira, they want to buy biscuit. They have an unstructured existence, no supervision. So I don't know what made me go back there. The thought just came. So unresolved issues is causing a lot. Unresolved issues between parents, issues between parent and the child themselves is bringing about a whole lot of issues. All right. Number 5, many kids are averagely ignorant. Many kids are ignorant. And when I'm talking about kids, I'm talking across board. Because sexual abuse, let me give you the phases. When it happens for children less than 8, there's a degree of abuse that it is. The child doesn't know, the child is in shock. Even up till 11, the child may not know, the child is in shock. But what about when they cross to when they're in puberty? When their hormones are surging, when abuse is not painful, when the person touches them and they feel good about it? What about them? What about them? So many children are largely ignorant. So at the level of this slide, I want to talk about something called grooming. What is grooming? There is no pedophile. There is nobody who starts abusing somebody the first time they meet them or at the first instance. By the way, I just want to explain to you that abuse is happening between adults and children, and between two children, between siblings, between cousins, living in the same house. It's happening in schools, it's happening in different places, adult to children and children to children. So many children are not even aware that they're being groomed. So, for instance, my daughters know when they're being groomed. And many times they may be wrong, but it's better to err on the side of caution. So, for example, what is grooming? Grooming is things that is like steps that people take before they abuse them. It means if you touch your children the steps, they can know that they're about to be abused and they can stop it. So let me give you an example. Let me give you a clear scenario. So somebody that wants to abuse a child does not abuse them the first time. First and foremost, they win the heart of the family so that they have access. They have access. So let me give you this painful illustration. Let's say somebody you give the house key to when you're going out. Somebody who, if they were in your house, your neighbors will not ask them what they're looking for there. Think about it. That's how it works. Somebody that if you drove in home, you will not be angry that they were there. You will not be surprised they were there. You will not think anything is amiss because they have legitimacy. So they warm up to you. They could be your neighbors. You moved into a new neighborhood. They're really nice to you. They're helping you fetch water. They're telling you where to get this, where to get that. So they warm up and they start having access to your home. That's the first step. The second step is they start to identify the child that they want to abuse. Hardly do they abuse children in pairs. When that happens, it's extra demons required. All right, they single out per time. So, or even if they want to abuse two children, they give them solo experiences. So this uncle starts to come to visit, or this auntie starts to come to visit, and she has extra gifts. She has extra this, she has extra that. Oh, never forgets the birthday. Ribbons there, cake here, pizza there. Remember, these things I'm telling you, people who are not abusive, sexually abusive, can do this. It's just that pedophiles also do this. So they start to give gifts. And so by the time they start to give gifts, your child is endeared to them. Has it ever occurred to you to tell your child to be careful of someone who is being endeared to them? As parents, we want people to love our children. So our subconscious mind is excited when someone goes out of their way to really care for our children. Our subconscious mind feels like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, my children were going to this new school and this teacher came out and volunteered to support. There are good people like that, but that's also how these guys operate. That's also how these guys work. So first and foremost, they warm up to you, the parent. Then they start to isolate the child with gifts. Now, in the process of isolating the child with gifts, they start to spend time with the child. In spending time with the child, they get to know the child. They get to know the child's pain point. They get to know the child's weakness. They get to know the things the child enjoys. They get to know the child's secrets. Sometimes they start to tell the child that, can I keep a secret with you? They tell the child, can they keep a secret with the child? And the child feels like, oh, this person is becoming my really close friend. So when they start to share their supposed secret with your child, they ask your child to share a secret. And so by the time the child starts to open up on the issues at home, they start to know what to take advantage of. Your child is sharing about their favorite food. Their child is saying about the auntie that they don't like and why they don't like that auntie. Your child is talking about the friend at school. Your child is volunteering information because the person has won your likeness. This person has isolated your child, making them feel special, calling them great names, has started having access to spending time alone with your child, and so they're getting to know your child. The fourth step, usually, they would do something to test your child's reaction. So let's say your child was with them playing in the parlor. Just let me imagine you have an only child where she's helpless, she's alone with him, or he's alone with him or her. They're just there in the parlor. He can mistakenly he can touch her butt and act like it's a mistake. He wants to see her reaction. Now, if in that moment she goes, no, you don't touch my private body area like that, that's the end of that cycle. Soon the person is going to become so busy he doesn't come to your house anymore. He can wake up one day and tell you, oh, auntie, I got a job, I have to go to Maraba, I can't make it anymore. They start to withdraw because there's been confrontation with your child before the abuse. Now, if they tapped your child and your child did not notice, they tapped your child and there was no reaction, they tapped your child and just say, uncle, why did you do that? And I say, oh no, it was a mistake. And they convince your child. That's a green light for full abuse to go on. And the day they decide to touch your child, they're going to tell your child, I'm doing this because you're special to me. I'm doing this because I like you. In fact, a coach that came to our program, Coach Enimian, used an illustration. She said that kids that are domineering, they like to be the boss. The pedophile will tell them, I can't do it to you. There's something that I do to people that are strong and powerful. And your child will say, no, do it to me now. Show me, do it to me. They say, no, it's for big girls. So it's only big girls. You do that to only big girls. And you say, I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl. Do it to me. Can you do that? So many kids don't know this cycle. So I'm going to take it again. Number one, the person warms up to you, the parent. That's why I told you be observant. A grown man wants to hang out and help you go to the market. A grown woman that should be at work is volunteering easily. There are good people who can meet you like that, but it takes your attentiveness. And even as a parent, you can become uneasy. You're a child of God now. You can become uneasy with a relationship. You can become uneasy with someone who is trying to warm up to you. You can become uneasy. You can become restless. That's a sign that I don't need this person in a circle. So remember, you're the first touch point. That plumber molested that children because he has the trust of their mother or the trust of their father. So you parents are the first signboard that they come to in order to get to your children. Single moms, for instance, have to leave their kids at home sometimes with neighbors. Do you know the neighbors that your children don't like sometimes are the neighbors to leave them with? Let me give you a clear case. The neighbor that is disciplined enough to say, sit down there, sit there till your mother comes. Don't go there. The neighbor that has the same voice as the parent, sometimes children will not like. Children like the neighbor that is free. Come and watch TV in my house now. Come and watch TV in my house. Come and enjoy yourself. Ah, there's cartoon in my house. So that's the other thing. They'll tell a child, come and watch. I have Nick Jr. now. Come and watch Nick Jr. in my house. Start looking for the neighbors that are firm and strict and are no nonsense. Many times, they are safer to be with than permissive people. I remember when I and my husband used to go to Lagos for fundraising. I used to have this wicked combination of people in my house with my children. Three women. It could be any of them, but they're most likely two at a time. One of them is Miss Senami, the other one is Miss Augusta, the other one is Miss Felicia. All three of them I squad. Let me explain. Each one has the supervisor side, has the loving side, but the supervisor side supersedes. Like if bedtime is 8 p.m., if I call my children 15 minutes past 8, I'm going to hear that they're sleeping. They're firm like that. Remember, there could be aunties that love to hang out with your children, play with them, nothing wrong. But people who want to abuse children usually weaken the standards in the home so that they have access. They weaken the instruction, they weaken what it needs to be. They laugh about things that you don't laugh about. So you need to be alert. So the grooming is they start with you, they win your love. Then they move to treating the child special. Many times, the child may be one among 4, 5 children or 3 children, but the uncle or auntie say, nah, this one is my favorite. Don't let people call you favorite your children in front of you. Teach your children that everybody is special. If someone tells your child that they're special and your child was at our last boot camp, chances are that your child will tell the person, no, uncle, everyone is special. God made everyone special. That way, whoever the uncle or auntie is, they've lost the grip. Children that are looking for someone to say they're special will warm up to that. So it means that build relationship now. Kilote, build relationship where your children hear the most special things about themselves from you, and they're not coming out in the world to look for answers. You get the idea? So step two, the person will isolate verbally, start to give gifts, then start to isolate physically. When the isolation physically starts to happen, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of stories. So all of a sudden, you have a teenage daughter that sits outside and talks to that other neighbor and they talk. I say, no, it's just about my jumbo. It's just about my this. You need to call her in and say, baby girl, don't say too much to anybody. Don't be vulnerable. No matter how people are present, don't be vulnerable. Don't tell them your heart had desire. People have to earn it. People have to be in your life for at least a year or two. You have to see them go through adversity and they trust you with the adversity you can see before you open up to tell anybody anything about you. So they can note at that moment because the person is looking for opportunity, is learning about them, is learning about their weakness. And then the fourth thing is they will attempt to touch. So your child must know that the reaction in the event they missed all the initial steps, the reaction has to be epic. For example, your child can get up and allow a plate break and say, did you touch me? That person is not coming back to your vicinity. Even if they think they were misunderstood, they will not be able to face you to argue the talk. And so they are off. And then finally, we pray that we never get to the part where abuse has happened. Ask your child to speak up about abuse the first time it happens. In fact, your children need to speak up about everything along the way. From when the person starts to buy special gifts, call them special names, they should speak up. Because if they are helpless, you can interrupt the flow of this thing. You see that plumber, he didn't touch them the first time he came. He's been coming to that house regularly. He's been coming. Do you get? So you have to equip them to say, don't say if somebody touches you, kilo they've touched them, the flow has gone far. Treats you specially, starts to talk to you, secret. guides you on how to break rules. You say, I don't want to go to bed at 8, say, then go into your room. You can sneak in with your tablets and just keep watching it. Moms, you would think that you're sleeping. Be careful about single children, children that are only children. They are very lonely, they're incredibly lonely many times. If you, the parents, are not present to be a part of their world in that loneliness, they are easy prey. They're very easy prey because they're lonely. You get the idea? So remember the 5 steps. They warm up to you. Number one, they start to treat the child specially, different from other kids. So when an adult says, You're my wife, say, No, uncle, I can never be your wife. I'm too young to be your wife. Number three, they start to share, tell their stories, ask the child for stories. Number four, they make an attempt at touching the child to watch the reaction. Now, if the child does not have the right reaction, number five, abuse will happen. You get the idea? So, finally, point number 6, I don't know how to say this, but studies show that sex education prevents sexual abuse. All the things I've been telling you now to go, all the things I've been telling you from when I started, it's all part of sex education. Sex education reduces sexual abuse to the minimum. Do you get the idea? Have you sat down with a teenager and they told you about? I mean, this one I heard it during the boot camp, where a girl in my camp said her cousin that comes to sleep in the house raped her one day in the house. So this is my feedback. There's a parent in the house and somebody raped that child and she didn't scream. She didn't speak up. And the adults in that house did not notice the dynamics in their body language in the same house. That's what I was going to when I started saying, can you pick body language dynamics? When two people touch each other, the dynamics in the relationship changes. If it was abuse like rape, for example, and the girl is still trying to cover him up, there will be rudeness. She'll be disrespectful of him. But she didn't talk to her mom. The next day he came, did it again. Then she did therapist for him. She gathered him and said, Why are you doing this to me? And he said he's going through a mental health problem. He's so sorry that he had to do this, but he just can't control himself because of the depression, because of the this, because of the that. So, because of that, I want to qualify sexual abuse in another way, that it's not only pedophiles that abuse children. Remember, pedophiles are like an adult who have sexual attraction to children. There are children that are misled, that are abusing each other. For example, your 16-year-old nephew can abuse his 6-year-old cousin in the same house. I know the African mind cannot handle it, but it is more common than you know. It is far more common than you know. For some of us, in some homes, let me not say some of us on the call, God forbid, in some homes, the sons in the house are molesting the maids in the house. All minors. So one son, maybe he went and watched porn, he's all triggered, he comes home and molests the maid. The maid can't talk because if I talk, everybody will be against me. If I talk, everybody will be against me. It reminds me of something I wanted to say. I said, in the first step of grooming, I just remembered something. In that first step of grooming, the people who want to abuse children have direct access to the homes of the families. There are people that the neighbor will not frown at. But we can all have a policy where I've seen you with my children, with my neighbor's children before when they were around. When I see you when our parents are not around, I can send a message to the woman and say, Are you aware that this boy that drives is in your house right now? Does he have your permission to be there? We need to start looking out for each other. Plumber is working, call the kids to sit outside with you, the neighbor. Come and play outside as uncle is working. Come and sit outside. For him to be able to do that, he had access to those 2 kids without interruption, unless he's possessed by a demon and it led him to start. When you sit down and put all of these structures in place, remember to have open mouth and talk. Did anybody touch you? Did anybody touch you? But you've not talked about what kind of touch, who can touch, the circumstances, what they should do. But you're always asking, did anybody touch you? So lack of sex education is when parents avoid conversations with their kids. This can result in children being uninformed about appropriate boundaries, consent, and healthy relationships, thereby increasing their vulnerability to potential sexual abuse. Someone tapped her on the butt. When the abuser makes that attempt and touches her on the butt, she's not aware that that's a dishonorable thing to do. So she doesn't think anything is wrong. So uncle takes it as a green light. She wants it, and that's it go. We need to give sex education. We need to give sex education. This YouTube channel has several videos on different aspects of sex education. We have sex conversation planner that shows you which topic of sex education you should use. We have body smart girl bundle that shows you books age by age. What should they know? For example, do you know when your children turn 14, their sex education is not the same again? Their sex education is not, don't let somebody touch you, be careful about boys. Their sex education changes. It enters a phase that we call dating education. Their conversation changes. So don't let anybody touch you. Your daughter is 16. Her body is doing her jim, 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 jim. The plumber came and said he loves her, that there's a way he will take care of her, there's a way he will make her beautiful, there's a way he will make her hips big. You've not talked. The plumber will convince her. Or you people are constantly fighting. And when the plumber comes, they say, you know, you're beautiful. Regardless how mom is talking to you, you're amazing. Like, I'm a fan. Like, I like you. Do you understand? Everything will be fine. She will break something in the house for him to come and fix the day you're not at home. Because you're not talking. Parents, this is why I'm ending it tonight though. You have to talk. So I'm going to take it all over again. I'm going to take it all over again from the beginning. What makes sexual abuse possible is lack of supervision. Children are going on their own, going from pillar to post. Even in school, they know children that don't have supervision. Parents don't come for anything. Their communication book is not signed. There's nobody present. So if a nanny in the school wants to breed on your child, how you treat them in order, your child comes to school, their hair is not properly made, their socks is torn, their the shoes as the leather has opened. They know that that child does not have a present adult looking out for them. They are the ones. They know that there will be late pickup, and that late pickup will not be accompanied by a phone call appealing to any teacher to hold on to the child. So they know you will not come. They know that you're rushing to work very early. So you drop the child in school at 6:45 with a male security man to wait till the first teacher comes at 7:15 or 7:20. They know that you cannot intercept them. So who are the people that know that you cannot catch them? Who, in what spaces are you allowing people unfettered access to your children that they know, say nothing will happen? Number one. Number two, if something happened or is about to happen, would you be able to recognize it? Would you see body language? I watched a video where they showed a woman, a maid that is intersex. Intersex meaning that she has breasts, so she looks like a woman, has hips, but she has a penis. And so definitely if you're employing a maid, you won't be opening their clinical to check. So she moved into that house and started having intercourse with two girls in that house. Teenagers, I heard 14, 16. Now, I don't believe everything I see on social media, but the picture of that lady that person went viral. So I'm asking, a maid comes into the house and starts to do stuff with our kids. One way I will know is that they don't have confrontation. Then, because there should surely be a confrontation, all right? There should surely be a confrontation because many times maids feel that they're doing the work that grown girls should be doing. So now you have a maid that your children cooperate with so well. It can happen, but you need to pay extra attention. Say, what's the fuel? What's fueling it? You can ask your children, say, what is it with it? What do people like about her? Then you start to keep your ears on the ground. There will surely be whispering. There will be gestures. There will be signs of, let's meet here. There will be something. But the question is, would you pick it when it happens? There's one prayer that my husband prays that I want to recommend to you. Tonight, ask God to help make your home a place that no vice, sexual or otherwise, can thrive. That the moment there is a beginning, there should be an exposure. Those kind of prayers, God answers quick, 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 quick. As you're here, you've not bumped into the toilet to see that that girl was standing to pee. Then you want to understand how she entered the toilet, and when the urine entered the toilet, it wasn't scattered, it was precise. You know that you've carried basic. As you went to carry the person, I mean, some of these things is almost unavoidable, but I'm not that unavoidable. It's like it could happen to anybody, even me that is talking. So what that tells me is we have to be present. Be present. They will make a mistake. I don't know if you watch criminal investigation when like NCIS, CSI New York, all of them. If you watch them, I used to be an addict to them. God delivered me because I nearly became paranoid. If you notice, every time the FBI agent or whoever they are going in to search a crime, they will tell you that all criminals make a mistake. The thing is, did you notice it? You may have bumped into that person touching your child in a particular way. You may have met your child angry with the other and say, it's me today, as if they are two wives. You would have picked the body language. I'm not judging the family it happened to, just for clarity, but I'm saying that some of these things are subtle. We need to be alert. And so that's why I started with, let's talk about God. Please don't make this thing thrive in my home. Open my eyes, open my ears, help my attention to pick it up. All right? Number 3, give your children routine. It gives you what to use and debrief at the end of the day. How did this happen? How did this happen? How did this happen? Oh, it was at the camp my daughter heard that my 5-year-old girl would say everyone is special, not just herself. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Everyone is special. Carry your compliment and get out. We're all special, you know? So give your children routine. Boys, these things I'm saying applies for boys and girls, so you get. All right. So give them routine. You went to the barbing salon today. Did you meet someone there? Da 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 da. Spend time, talk, debrief on their task. Did you do this? Did you do that? Spend time there. Do you get the idea? So give your children routine so that you can debrief at the end of the day. Number 4, and let me just talk about this routine thing just a little more. Routine means structure. It means values. It means things that your family represents. Don't be anything goes family. If you've been like that, is dangerous. Anything goes. Person tap person for board. Person talk vulgar is not a thing for you. You will not know when things have gone amiss because nonsense is perpetually happening around you and you don't make it a big deal. So Irene is asking you to step up your standard and make it a big deal. You get the idea? Unresolved issues, resolve issues with your husband, resolve issues with your co-parent, resolve issues with your mom, resolve issues with the adults in your life, with the other adults, your friends, resolve issues, resolve the tension between you and the maids. Your children are picking the pressure. Resolve the issues you have between you and your children. Is exposing them, is making them emotionally vulnerable. I've told you the 5 steps of grooming. So teach your kids about grooming. And then finally, provide sex education. And as you provide sex education, if you have any questions, just start dropping them right now. I always end my sessions with recommending some of the products that we have. So we have the Body Smart Girl bundle. If you look at my screen, we have a full bundle for people that have children of different ages. A full bundle contains resources for 3 to 5-year-olds, 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14, 15 to 17. So if you have children across age 3 to 17, just buy the full bundle. The full bundle is 26,500 naira. It has 11 products inside. And this 11 products, this is how it is. It has a book for parents. It has a book for all the age groups of the girls individually. Then it has flashcards. These flashcards help conversation. It actually helps you provide sex education to your children. So they have question cards for parents. They have question cards for girls to ask parents questions. But inside the pack, we have cards that tell parents how to answer because we want children to feel comfortable coming to talk to parents. Now, if you're not providing sex education, your child is not likely to report abuse because there is no rapport for them to bring up that conversation. So the full bundle is 26,500, but just in case you don't have, your girls are not, you don't have many girls or you don't need the full bundle, we have age by age pack. So the 3 to 5 bundle, you just get your own parents book, the book for the girl and the pack of cards. The same thing for 6 to 8, for 9 to 11, for 12 to 14, and for 15 to 17. So if you look at the screen right now, you're going to see like stuff scrolling at the bottom telling you how to order the bundle. All you need to do is send us WhatsApp with the word bundle to the number that is scrolling right now. You can take a screenshot. Also, we have the bootcamp coming up in August. The bootcamp is free once again. Now that we are saying it's free, just be taking advantage of it. The bootcamp is free. All you need to do is send us the word camp as a WhatsApp message to the number scrolling on the screen. So if you want the bundle, send bundle. If you want to register the bootcamp, send that. We also have a set of tools called Say No Bundle. But inside that tool is for parents. We have something called the Sex Conversation Planner. After buying the bundle, you can buy the Sex Conversation Planner. It's just 1,000 naira, a soft copy, and it tells you this is the topic to teach your children about today, this month. This is the topic. For each age, we have topics that you can teach them. So, dear parents, invest in buying resources that help you teach body safety. It's not too expensive, it's not too much, it's not too cumbersome. If you're using our product and you have a question, your child, something happened, you need us to help you, guide you how to deal with it. We're always ready to answer you because we know that you're a committed parent. And one way you demonstrate you're a committed parent is that you're using one of our resources. So if you're using one of our resources, you can call us and say, this thing is happening, and I'll tell you, open to page this in your book. That's where you get the answers from. Or do you get? So don't shy away from, investing in things that equip you to, protect your children. So at this point on the screen right now, you can see the number. You can see the number that if you want to, whether it's a bundle, whether it's a bootcamp, just send us a WhatsApp to that number on the screen. In the meantime, I'm looking through the comment section to see questions that are available. So I see Auntie Chikodi. She said it was at the camp that my daughter heard that. Okay, 5-year-old. She says everyone is special. So I see, I see Auntie Victoria say, how do I get the sex education planner? So send us a chat on the same WhatsApp and ask. Send us a chat on the same WhatsApp group and tell us I want sex education planner. So some parents are saying, can the product be used for boys too? Now, if you buy the bundle for your daughters, the bundle is primarily written for daughters, but you can take some of the things you're learning from for the girls and teach the boys as well. But the bundles were written for girls. However, we have another body safety book called Stay Safe Everywhere. That one both boys and girls can use. This same number on the screen, send us a message and say, I want Stay Safe Everywhere. Stay Safe Everywhere is for both boys and girls. So you can reach out to us on that. All right. So because the Body Smart Girl bundle was primarily for girls, we decided to do the Stay Safe Everywhere because it kind of covers places they need to be safe with. Stay Safe Everywhere has, I think, 14 locations for primary school kids. It has 14 places or so that children will find themselves and how they can protect themselves from abuse. From their playground to when they go for sleepover to church, to in the house, different things. So if you order the book now, I think it's 254 Stay Safe Everywhere. So send us a message. People have been asking us to make it digital because of delivery copies. So I think we're going to be putting Stay Safe Everywhere online um, in the coming week, but the hard copy is available now. Meanwhile, I also wanted to mention that the Body Smart Girl bundle, we have it in digital copies, but the cards are not included. That means you can buy the parents' book online, soft copy. You can buy the girls' book per age online. But the way we've designed it is not PDF. You can't download it. You can't download it. You have to read it online, but it's very easy to download, all right? Okay, and so Lua Yomi say, I thank God I stumbled on this. How do I register for the next bootcamp? My girl just turned 6. This UK, no, they help, no problem. Just look at the phone number on the screen, send us a message and say camp. We'll send you information on how to register. It's totally free. So when you come, we'll share with you link to a WhatsApp group. Join that WhatsApp group. We'll eventually post like the registration form in there. We just want everybody to be together first so that we can pass on information in a seamless manner. All right, so let me see. How do I get the sex conversation planner? I've been able to answer that. Fantastic. Any other questions, please? Any other questions? Fantastic, All right. Any other question? Fantastic. Okay. Can the okay? I think I've answered that one as well. I said you can use stay safe everywhere. Stay safe everywhere caters to boys as well, but the Body Smart Girl bundle is primarily designed for girls. So am I seeing any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. Thank you so very much, mamas. So if you have a question along the way, you can post it again. Is there something your daughter or son asked you earlier that you didn't quite know how to answer? It's not a big deal. You can post it here. I can guide you as well. You can leave us a comment on the. Okay, yes, I'm going to call it out now. I can actually pin it here. I'm going to type it right now. The number is plus 234-8100-944-320. Let me see. Yeah, I think I've posted it. Yeah, so I'm showing it on the screen now. I've put it on the screen now. Plus 234-8100-944-320. All right. Which bundle should I buy for a child that will be 9 years in September? You have to buy the 9 to 11 bundle. September is far, but between now and then is the 9 to 11 bundle. Is 9 to 11, yeah. Is 9 to 11 because she's almost there, yeah. Okay, so please thank you so much for sending the messages to the number. Give us till tomorrow to respond to you because we are sleeping now so that we don't mix up what we're chatting on. So please allow us until tomorrow to get back to you. So I want to thank all you amazing mamas who came out here tonight. So next week we're going to we do this every Thursday, by the way. So if you're also on our Instagram at raisinggirls.ng, feel free to send us a DM and tell us topics you would like us to deal with in the subsequent editions. I'm trying to do this every Thursday because I want to keep the conversation, ongoing. In the last 4 weeks, we've done a lot. We've done on how to get your child to speak up about abuse. We've done how to provide sex education, how to for you to say it is also on YouTube. We've also done how to answer questions your children ask you that is related to sex education. How do you answer the questions? Is there? And then tonight we did how to prevent sexual abuse. So you can come send us a DM on Instagram at raisinggirls.ng. You can also send us a WhatsApp on the number that is currently pinned to the screen and would be able to, you can send us a message and tell us this is a topic, or can we treat this topic? But let me just tell you this expo in advance. In the month of June, we're going to be focusing on concerned sexual behaviors. You notice your child did something or your child is engaging in something and you don't know whether you should be worried. So throughout the month of June, that's what we're focusing on. Each week we'll pick different age groups and explore. All right. There is hope for our children side. I tell you, there's hope. So in the month of June, every week we will pick one behavior. For example, 3 to 5 year olds. What should you be worried if your child did this? Should you be worried or not? And if you're worried, what should you start with? So the month of June, we're going to be focusing on watching sexual behaviors in children and how to correct, how to identify whether abuse has happened, how to check what the influences are, and how to get your child into recovery. So that's going to be happening the whole of June. So this month of May, we still have a couple of weeks to go. So tell us what you'd like us to focus on. All right. I want to thank you very much, very, 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 very much. I know that the last week in May is menstrual hygiene week. So we may do something about preparing your daughter for her first period. So keep that appointment. And I'd like to do it two parts. I'd like to do something with fathers. I'd like to show fathers how to build the menstrual kit. So if you have a husband that you think will be interested, let me know. All right. Would your husband be interested in learning how to present your daughter her first menstrual kit and learn what to say to her that day? So if your husband will be interested, you can also send us WhatsApp. It's not going to be a paid experience, it's going to be on YouTube, but exclusively for fathers. So we can guide them because we want them to be a part of that process. So I want to thank everyone. Every day I come out here on YouTube and tell my children that today is going to be a 30-minute session. And it ends up being about an hour and a half, 15 minutes. Anyway, I'm grateful for your company. I'm grateful that you keep believing in us and coming out every week. So I'm gradually coming to the end for the day. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much, Esther, Saida, Toluwayomi. Let me scroll up to see all the amazing women. Grace Popola, thank you so much, Mama Auntie Esther Okute, thank you. Victoria was here, Chikodi, Alice. I'm looking at the people that commented. Jumi, Nana, Eloho, Ojolape. Thank you so much. I hope I pronounced the name right. I see Fame as well. I see Sidat again. Tell me talk Bright. My sweet sister Cynthia, thank you for being here. Auntie Fumilayo Shaba, thank you so much. Sandra, Maureen from Jalingo, Shaba from USA, Maureen from Jalingo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I want to thank you, Sweet Loveth NG, thank you. Onyi Ajagbe, thank you for being here today. Joy Emmanuel, Ifeanyi Iku, thank you so much. And my mama Olushola Bankole, thank you for being here. Joy Moaka, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember what we said when we started, which is that no matter how much justice we get for children who've been abused, the child is never the same again. Orolua, thank you so much for being here. Gamer Boy, thank you so much for being here. All right, I want to thank you all. I look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday. In the meantime, subscribe to our YouTube channel and do us a quick favor. Get as many people as possible, as many people as you know, to watch this video, because the more children around us that get this right education, the safer our own children are. All right. So we need to make sure as many children as possible get this information. Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you for being here tonight. So, guys, let's go home and sleep. Let's go back and sleep, because our reality as parents is different. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming out here today. I had a wonderful time. God bless you. Mwah.